Hello, honorable members of the clan. So, guys, let's go back to the Gauteng High Court while they are having a long adjournment. At 1, they'll be returning at 2 o'clock. So, let's talk about something that really shocked me. I don't know if it's because Mr. Nisi corrected Mr. Gininda about him becoming an expert or an analyst, but an investigator whose job is to tell us how did he collect this evidence and connected the dots that has brought us here today. Instead of going and say, oh, well, the DNA, this, and this is my take on the DNA, as if he's the DNA expert. Now, it was quite interesting to hear him kind of like change his tune, not 100% change his tune regarding the DNA, because he was challenged on that one. He's not a DNA expert, and he says that he agrees with the DNA expert's results because he could not come to a conclusive result that indeed one of the 5 people that stand accused of deleting Senzo Meiwa are the correct people that are here. However, he had this bit of an issue that if it's 16 out of 16, that is a definite result. But if it's not 60, if it's 69, 12, 16, all that sort of stuff, I don't know how that stuff works. To him, he feels like that's conclusive enough to say, yeah, these are the correct people that are accused of deleting Senzo Meiwa. He says if it was not for that mixture of the DNA of a female sample, I don't know who that female is. I don't remember if the female was ever revealed who it was. Some people say they suspect it was Makumalo because remember when Makumalo handed the hat, she was holding it with her while everybody was busy moving around in the crime scene instead of everybody going outside clearing off the crime scene. But they were all inside. Oh, Mabiri, oh, Banbani, no Banbani, allegedly were in the house. And she was holding, allegedly, the hat that supposedly belongs to one of the intruders. And that's when they handed it over to, I think, somebody, one of the investigating officers back in 2014. So they are saying that probably that DNA is of Makumalo. But if Makumalo's DNA wasn't there, Gininda believes that allegedly one of the perpetrators would have been cleared, that they are indeed or were indeed in the crime scene on the night of the 26th of October 2014. And he's still very much holding on to that, like, no. This is, if we can just remove this female DNA, then yeah, one of these 5 are indeed guilty of deleting Senzo Meiwa. But then again, he says, because I'm not an expert, it was a discussion that I had with a DNA expert. I don't know. We already heard Judge Rata himself kind of like coming up with his own interpretation of the DNA results that, hey, I don't know. To him, it sounds as though the people that are in court are the correct people according to the DNA, because just because it's indefinitive does not mean that it is indefinitive. Is that a word? I think it is a word. Okay, let's say just use a positive. If it's just because it's not positive doesn't mean indeed it is negative or whatever the case was. So Gininda now says, or he concedes to say that he agrees with the DNA expert. I think that is after he got a lashing from Mr. Mnisi, basically reminding him that you are not an expert. And then come Advocate Mshololo, who just say, you are just a police, he's just a police officer, law, or something. That humbled him. That definitely humbled him a little bit. To be reminded that, hey, just because you're starting LLB, it does not give you the license or the right to come and be an expert in everything. Stick to your lane. You are a police officer, not an expert. The thing is, I am still asking myself, is that transparent money bag or plastic bag, where does it come from? Who sent it to who? But the person that started it off, who is that person? That way we get to understand that this is a meme, and it's a meme that was quite popular back in the day. Why is it in court? Why is it part of the evidence in court? Why memes are being evidence in court is what I want to know. Just like English expressions. That is why I always said, guys, if I ever got myself into trouble, I want to write the statement myself. But I'm going to patanisa isiZulu sami because English will put you into trouble, oh. English will put you into trouble. I even remember back in high school as well, because we used to have a disciplinary committee in my school, consisted of the deputy head boy, one of the presidents of the SRC, I think 3 parents and 2 teachers. And hey, English, it was the reason why some boys were getting expelled from school, because you said one word, when it's interpreted into something else, then that is exactly what you said. And therefore, this school does not tolerate this kind of language or this kind of act, and then off you out the school. That's how English, that's when I learned that just because you know how to speak English doesn't mean you actually understand how to speak English. Same thing in a court of law. In a court of law, you say one thing, it's interpreted into something else. Somebody told me that with what do you call this, with law, there is what you call intrinsic and extrinsic explanation of words or interpretation of words. Intrinsic meaning the real meaning of that word. Extrinsic could be slang, could be informal type of situation. And also when you agree or disagree with something, let's say you are sitting and you're watching television and your son comes to you. You are concentrating, maybe it's the news, or maybe you're watching an interesting movie, and then your son taps you at the back and he's like 9 years old. He's like, Dad, Dad, Dad. And then you're like, what? Then he says, can I take your car key? And I just want to drive to the store to buy candy. I'll be back right now. And then you're like, okay. That's apparently that is called tacit agreement. Then your 9-year-old takes the car keys, get in your car, your Mercedes Benz you just bought 2 days ago, brand new from the box. And then he drives, boom, he crashes. And then now you don't remember ever giving him permission, but he survived. And he says, but Dad, you said I could take the car. Tacit agreement. Again, English. Oh, no. Be careful, guys, when you are going to write police statements. When you are going to write a statement or affidavit, hey, every word, I always say the simplest your English is, the better. When I say simplest, even if it means, oh, that, do, to that, and hey, they will interpret it their own way as long as you didn't say it. It doesn't come from you. It does not come from me. It comes from the person that wrote the statement. I'm not taking no responsibility for what somebody else wrote, what I said. So that is why I can write English myself. And I know what words I can use that are not going to bounce back, and then suddenly I'm held accountable for something I did not even mean. So this is exactly what I am seeing is happening here. Gininda is playing with words. Just like he was playing with words with Tumelo Madlala's statement regarding the 38. In fact, all of them, all 3 eyewitnesses who said that the gun had a wheel, and he's interpreting it by saying, no, they are not experts. They are not licensed. They wouldn't know how to describe it. But then what's the whole point of the process of describing something that you saw that could have ended your life? And then you come and say, no, this person is not an expert. So we cannot take that as the gospel truth. It's crazy. Guys, it is so crazy. But again, guys, so far, I'm not quite sure where we're going with this cross-examination. But I do see that Mr. Ramusipili is piling up all the discrepancies that are in Mr. Gininda's testimony in his evidence in chief. And it's still quite much stuttering in some instances, but he's over-explaining himself, which actually takes a lot of the court's time. And Mr. Rata is not saying anything. He does ask a question now and again regarding the runaway phone, because myself, I did not understand the runaway phone thing. What exactly does it mean? And then Gininda explains it that basically it's a cell phone that belonged to Kelly Kumalo. Then Rata wants you to know, is this phone confirmed to belong to Kelly Kumalo, and the cell phone number and all that stuff, and also confirmed by Steyn. And Mr. Gininda is like, yes, indeed, it was confirmed by Steyn, the expert or the cell phone record expert that it belonged to Kelly Kumalo. And then I guess he was satisfied with that. But I could also see him a little bit apprehensive when he was looking at Mr. Ramusipili, with Mr. Baloyi standing up now and again to correct Mr. Ramusipili about rules of cross-examination or something like that. And I did see that also kind of like disturb Mr. Ramusipili's chain of thought, because he would abandon these thoughts of his and then move on to something else. And I'm like, Mr. Ramusipili, can you at least... But then again, you can be held accountable by the judge at the end. We're like, but this is what you submitted to the record, so you cannot change it anymore. I don't know. Anyways, that is what I've been picking up in the second part of today's proceedings. So we'll hear after the long adjournment where Ramusipili is going with his cross-examination. And I'm thinking he's now about to punch and take out some aces up his sleeve. And Mr. Gininda, let's see how he dodges all of those, because that's all that he's been doing this entire morning. He's forgetting things, he's remembering things, and he's also interpreting things in the way that he believes he understands. And Ramusipili is not challenging him on that. I think he's going to leave everything that Mr. Gininda is saying to argument. I don't know. Maybe somebody else is going to pick up from there, from the defense team, and say, but this is what you said, and can you answer to this, or whatever the case is. And that, guys, thank you so very much for following this case with me. I know at this point I am servicing those of you who have quit this case, and you're only listening to my commentary about the case because you're no longer stomaching the entire day of broadcasting of a fib. Because as far as I'm concerned, we are witnessing a fib, meaning lies, cookerization, something that has absolutely nothing to do with the 5 gentlemen that are accused of deleting Senzo Meyiwa. Well, we say it again. The people, I sincerely believe, one of them was with Senzo Meyiwa on the 26th of October 2014. I'm not moved or shaken by that. Not at all. A mistake happened, and now there's a cover-up, or several cover-ups at this point in time. Other than that, guys, please don't leave this video without liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. And if you like us, you are going to click the bell notification, come with your 2 IQs, and spark your own opinion once you get notified every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much for watching the ads and also the super thanks, guys. I highly appreciate it. And I'll see you next time with a new video. Goodbye.